There might be nothing left to go home to. I couldn't take his silence any longer. What's going on? I asked, voice pitched a few octaves higher than normal in my worry. Dad sighed. Remember when I told you I was thinking of dating again? I frowned. That wasn't what I'd expected him to say. Yeah? Well, there's this woman, Laura. He sounded a lot like I did every time I mentioned Will, sort of dreamy and a little goofy. She asked me to spend Christmas with her this year. She's going to the Swiss Alps and, well, I'd like to go. My mind was still trying to catch up with the fact Dad had started seeing someone, so it took me a few long seconds to respond. I mean, I knew he was looking to date again, but some part of me never thought he'd actually do it. Laura? Was all I could think of to say. She's great. I could hear the smile in his voice. She likes to travel, hence the Alps. She says it's perfectly safe. We'll be staying in a cabin, not climbing the mountains or adventure-seeking. No camping in the cold for these old bones. He laughed, though he still sounded nervous. You want to go to the Alps? I asked, still a few beats behind. If you think it's a bad idea, Buttercup, I can cancel. He didn't sound like he wanted to, but he'd always be willing to do anything I asked to make me happy. This was no exception. Which, of course, made me feel like a royal jerk for sounding as if I might disapprove of his date, even a little. I think it's a great idea, I said. I might have forced the cheer a bit, but that didn't mean I wasn't happy for him. I was thrilled he was finally moving on with his life. I was just bummed I wouldn't get to see him this holiday season. You caught me off guard is all. I just started seeing her recently, he said. I know it's short notice. We leave late tonight, if you can believe it. I think she waited because she didn't think I'd want to go. A pause before. If you want, I could ask her if it would be all right to invite you along. I'm sure Laura would be okay with it. No, that's not necessary. You two should have fun together. I can stay here and spend Christmas with Will. Besides, I think he was a little upset I'd planned on leaving, so it works out. Are you sure? Dad sounded both pleased and a little heartbroken, which made me feel better about my own feelings. I wasn't the only one who was going to have to get used to things being different this year. I'm sure. A thump in my bedroom reminded me Misfit had a piece of ribbon. I'd better go. Cat's causing some trouble. Need to rein him in before I head into work. I'll talk to you later, Buttercup, and thanks. Have fun, I said and hung up, feeling a smidge melancholy. I liked the idea of spending Christmas with Will, but I'd miss Dad something fierce. I was afraid it just wouldn't be the same without him. I hurried into the bedroom to find Misfit in the corner, ribbon wrapped around him like he was a fuzzy, wiggly gift. He'd somehow gotten tangled in it to the point where he couldn't get out. He glared at me as if it was all my fault. That's what you get, I told him as I untangled him. He made a swat at the ribbon as I pulled him free. I yanked it back and stuffed it into my pocket where he couldn't reach. Looks like we're going to spend Christmas together this year. Normally, Vicky watched him while I was gone. He'd stay with her and his littermate Trouble. From what Vicky tells me, they both managed to live up to their namesakes. I returned to the living room and cleaned up before Misfit found something else to run off with. I put all 3 gifts into the spare bedroom, closing the door behind me so Misfit wouldn't get in and unwrap them early. I'd have to mail Dad's gift to him at some point, but that could wait. Once everything was packed up, I pulled on my coat, grabbed my purse and keys, and then headed out the door to my car. Winter was here, but had yet to dump snow on us. There'd been a light dusting a few days ago, but it was already long gone. I hadn't paid any attention to the weather reports to know if a storm was coming since I hadn't planned on being in town to see it. As I got into my car, I mentally reminded myself to check the weather at the same time I canceled my flight. My Focus coughed a few times before starting. I gently stroked the dash, murmuring thanks as it started to warm. I so didn't need to be car shopping this time of the year, not with all the gifts I still needed to buy. I'd planned on shopping for Vicky, Will, and the rest of my friends while in California. I could get things there I wouldn't be able to find here. I added a shopping